I'm in a group right now, my own coaching, and one of the mentors that leads the group says it to us all the time. The only difference between you guys running your businesses and somebody like Patrick Bet-David or Ed Milet or Lewis Howes, they spend a heck of a lot more money on marketing and ads than you do.
Right.
More leads, higher price product. It's the same thing. How much does it cost to bring them in? What's the lifetime value?
One thing that drives me every day to do what we do is I feel not enough agencies know how to grow organically anymore. That's why you see most of the independents selling. I don't think they're selling out of desire. They're selling out of need. They're done. They're tired. They're just, I need to sell. And it's why M&A is the #1 strategy for all the big houses. Nobody knows how to grow organically anymore because there is a lack of agencies that understand what you two understood, which is, wow.
Yeah.
We apply marketing, a good strategy to our game plan and throw some ad money and dollars at it. Holy cow, this thing turns into a machine.
You don't test it at an $80,000 spend. You test it at a friggin' $5,000 spend. And then it worked, right?
Yep.
The cheapest cost per sale, right? Acquisition cost that there is buying internet leads, put a bunch of dials on them and transfer them to your people and closing them. Like, you're not going to find anything else under what, $300-400 acquisition cost, which you have to have. It can't be higher than that or you're not making anything, right? And so it's wild that there's other people like, oh, I'm waiting for the phone to ring. I'm going to aggressively stare at this thing until it rings, and nothing happens, right?
Did you guys hit a point when you had your marketing dialed in with this and you were generating leads and you almost like consistent, predictable leads where you said, we could probably go apply the same concept to another industry? Did you ever hit that point?
Yeah.
Yes.
We just hit that ourselves because we're in the process of building our own game plan here, right?
Yeah.
And it hit me because I'm like, wow, once you see what it takes or how to build this little machine, you're like, I told my team the other day, I'm like, we could literally take this process we've just built and apply it to another product.
Yeah, you can do it to anything because it's the same numbers for everything. I can talk about conversation I have with my wife here because she won't ever listen. So she works in biotech. They launch products and whatever, that treat cancer. It's good she's not listening. She walked through the, here's the development. I rattled off the metrics. Like, when it goes to market, this is what they need to do. They got to cover the R&D with the, and it's the same thing. Everything works the same. And she's like, no, you don't understand. Our industry works different. I'm like, no. Going and buying those other agencies is a quick path to growth. It's easy if there's a bunch of extra cash, or if they're going at a low multiple and you can finance it for cheap, or where they'll do a carryback, whatever, right? There's a lot of opportunity there. We put the numbers side by side, like spending and growing organically, or paid organic to do your business can be less acquisition costs when you put the numbers on what you get when you actually buy something, right? And there's also that the people that leave, right? You're losing 20% when you buy it. So it's just interesting when you actually go and look at the numbers, because a lot of folks talk about a lot of things, but they don't actually put the math on it. And that's what I love.
Are you willing to show up every day, act urgently in the moment, but put patience to your long-term vision? What I mean by that is, like, I get up every day, right? I love the process. I'm sure you guys are the same. You get up, you have to act urgently in the moment, the activity, but put patience to it as well, because you know what you're doing today is going to set up a big tomorrow. And I think that's where some agencies fall short when it comes to how do we use marketing to create that big win down the road. They lack the patience to say, I am spending dollars today, knowing this is going to create an amazing return a year, 3 years, 5 years from now. I think they're too focused on whatever I spend today, I want to create a return next week.
Right. I think this happens with every type of marketing thing that we as agents get. So everything will work as long as you do it, right? You can knock on doors, it'll work, but you have to do it forever, right? You don't just do it for a week and then stop. You can send mailers, it'll work, but you have to be consistent. We know that applying action is going to create a result. That's just a fact. It's law, right? Like, that's the laws of nature right there.
I think the more you can delay gratification in your business, like the more goodwill you can put out into the world, the more you're going to be able to return when you ask for something. And then I think, like, when you look at really big baller business dudes, they understand this the most. They understand, like, the long term, like the longer play. And I've thought about this a lot, and you see really good marketing people do this, where they're just giving away forever, ever. Gary Vee talks about the jab, right hook.
How to make a right hook
A
seem
jab.
like a jab for something bigger, yes.
I will throw right hooks that feel as jabby as possible. I think you throw your ultimate all-in pure right hook when you're finished.
But let's take it back to Jesus. The reason being is the Bible is the #1 selling book of all time.
Yes.
Right?
First
All
to market.
that Jesus did is give. And we're still talking about him, right? To me, like, the ultimate play in, like, reciprocity is just give, and never really ask for anything. So that's an extreme example. But But like us as business owners, like the longer that you can delay the gratification, the bigger the returns will be.
I think if you go at it with the confidence that I'm not going anywhere, I'll be here 5 years from now, that allows you to wake up every day. Again, act urgently, but be patient about it, confidently patient. The same mentor I mentioned earlier uses a phrase called save the best for first. Share your good stuff. It almost gives you this air of, I feel it when I reach out to prospects. You almost owe me a meeting because I've given you so much.
Right.
Not that I'm saying that to them, but in my head, I'm like, this guy owes me a meeting. We have given these teams so much content. They're going to say yes. I think you're right. The more you just focus on giving, it tends to create amazing inbound opportunities. And when you actually apply the outbound activity, it elevates your outbound activity to levels that you've never experienced before.
100%. And you can even relate that to your staff. You can relate it to, dude, to yourself. You know what I mean? Like the more you can create margin for yourself, the more like you like doing what you do. The more you can create a situation where your staff shows up and are excited about work, the more they're going to be excited and sell to, you know what I mean? Like it's exponentially better to create, to give. And I think so many times we can be frustrated as business owners and kind of lose sight of that. And then we get into this mindset of like fear where we're not giving as much. We're like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't we doing, you know what I mean? And it's like, that cycle is how you can really go down in flames.
Agreed.
You know?
Yeah, I think the traditional hand-to-hand prospecting combat we've all dealt with early in our careers is our activity was always we do something with wanting something in return.